Welcome back to Cosmeholics Anonymous. I am your favorite girl, Bo Vintage, and today's video is, of course, the finale of Bad Girls Club. Let's get it poppin'. So, the episode starts off with the two fights that we didn't get to see because of how they edited the damn show. They actually start the episode with Kiki's fight against Seven, and what I noticed was immediately Seven grabbed onto Kiki's hair to get that advantage. Even though Kiki's not the greatest fighter, Seven still did a dirty move. One, by attacking her when she wasn't even expecting to fight, and two, grabbing onto her hair right away because Seven had actually gone and braided her hair back so that that couldn't happen to her. She definitely won that fight. I would say they were on the ground. Security did come and break them up, but I kind of wish that for the last day, since they knew they were going to send those girls home anyway, I wish they would have just left the security out of it like they left the security out of Bree and Fran's fight. And then the fight with Bree and Key, that fight was also dirty, of course, because Bree was not expecting it. But I guess in the Bad Girls Club house, you should always be expecting something, okay? So Bree was there trying to put her stuff away when she got back from Vegas, and Key came in the room, and there was no long talking. There was no talking at all. She just ran up and started to attack Bree. Key had a very intense grip on Bree's hair, and her shit looked toe up after Key was done with her. They had actually fallen onto the bed, and so Bree was underneath Key, and of course Key had the advantage in this fight, and security also came and separated them. And yeah, it was just a hot fucking mess. Like, it was not a fair fight at all on either parts. I would really have preferred them to let those girls square up and fight fairly. Bree said that Key wasn't even swinging. She just had her hair the whole time. She wasn't bruised up or anything, so I don't know, maybe she's right. Like, from what it looked like on camera, it doesn't look like that's what happened, but she didn't have any scarring or bruising, so I guess Key wasn't hitting her. I don't know. Key also said the same thing about Bree, and I said that the tape suggests otherwise, so I don't know, but it seems as though in the Bad Girls Clubhouse, nobody wants to take a motherfucking L. It is what it is. They just don't want to take L's. The producers tell Key and Seven that they are going to a hotel for the night. As they're leaving in their taxi, Bree and Kiki are yelling out the window, "Bye, bitches," blah, 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 blah. In the morning, Kiki tells Bree that she didn't sleep at all. I guess she was just upset about the fight. And they start having a conversation, and they're saying that when the girls come back into the house, they aren't going to fight fair. They are going to be picking up chairs and obstacles and all of that and tossing them in the direction of those females because they did not give them a fair fight or a fair chance to fight, so they just want their revenge. They were pissed. And they both feel this way, and they both intended on fighting unfairly when the girls got back. So DeShayla is in confessional, and she is feeling outnumbered, she said, but she said she's not scared. The reason she said she's not scared is because, quote unquote, she knows that the girls are not really about it. I think they're about it. Even Kiki, who doesn't seem to win any of her fights, is about it. Like, she still has heart, and that's what we can respect about her. That even if she can't fight and doesn't even know she can't fight, I think she thinks she can fight, yeah. Oops, got all that in my hair. I don't know why DeShayla is in confessional saying that the girls aren't about it. They don't have a problem with DeShayla, so they're not going to attack her for anything unless she comes at them sideways on behalf of Seven and DeShayla, because that's just the kind of girls that they are. If they don't have a problem with you, they're not gonna bother you. And in my personal opinion, I do think she was a little worried, because if they were some weak ass bitches, they would just jump DeShayla because her affiliation with the other girls, but they aren't weirdos, so they didn't do that. So the guy from the hookah lounge in the earlier episodes, when Seora went to check it out, comes over and his purpose is to help Seora create her own signature flavor of hookah. So the girls basically just try out different flavors that Seora is mixing until they're satisfied with how it tastes when they inhale. And then later tonight, Seora is going to go to Star Hookah Lounge to do what she's calling a hookah flavor release party, or a flavor release party, and introduce it to the crowd at Star Hookah Lounge. So she's really excited that she got her own signature flavor. All she really did was mix different flavors like pineapple, strawberry, stuff like that, to get her own signature flavor. Okay, really, I'm gonna need y'all to stop it. Get the fuck out of the backyard. Like, you guys hear all this noise? So on the roof, Bree reveals what looks like a cockroach underneath some sort of silver pail. And before she said it, I already knew she was going to say this. She said that she named the cockroach Key Jr. And I was like, oh my god, this is so messy. It was messy because she was saying it to DeShayla, who is one of Key's best friends in the house. DeShayla did not come to her defense, of course, because what is the point at this point? DeShayla is actually agreeing with Bree that how Seven and Key addressed them or fought them was wrong of them to do. So she is kind of, I'm not going to say she's playing both sides, because she never encouraged them to fight the other girls. She was definitely a bystander. Was she innocent? No. But there was really nothing she could have done when it was happening. Like, she wasn't going to go out of her way to tell the other girls that they're gonna be fought. There was no way for her to do that unless she waited for them by the front door to tell them, but that would have been real stupid because it was just not her concern. Then again, if she actually felt that it was wrong, she could have stood up for the other girls and waited for them by the door and told them, but then it would have been a whole no snitching thing. So DeShayla was between a rock and a hard place. She could have done more to prevent that fight, but she didn't. So she wanted to be cool with her girls and just stay out of whatever mess they were into. Before that fight happened, she told them, just, you know, do what you guys need to do, and that's what she was telling to Bree. So she's really on the rooftop having a heart-to-heart with Bree, telling Bree that she doesn't want to lose herself following behind the other girls, and that's why she didn't involve herself in the fight, because she just felt like she's already been so lost in the house befriending them, and she didn't want to further that or actually be labeled a follower for fighting in a battle that was not hers to begin with. When it comes time to get ready to go to the hookah lounge, Seora decides to invite DeShayla because she knew that DeShayla would end up just being at home by herself, and there was really no point in that. So they decided to invite her out to have a good time with them, because once again, they don't really have a problem with DeShayla. DeShayla has always been floaty, like she's always been a middleman and caught up in the bullshit, guilty by association, you know what I mean? So they don't have a problem with her. They don't hate her, so they decide to invite her out, and I thought that was really nice of them to do, because I would hate to be in the Bad Girls Clubhouse chilling by myself because my two bitches decided that they wanted to fight and they got sent to a hotel for an extended period of time. So at first, when they invite her, she does hesitate to say yes to come. It's a really kind of awkward situation. If there's not going to be any issues with it, then yeah, she'll come, but she just doesn't want any, you know, problems. And she also said in her confessional that she feels as though she's happy that they could be the bigger person in the situation and that they invited her out. Her girls would never, like, they would actually never invite anybody from the other side of the house out with them if they were gonna be at home by themselves. They just would never. In confessional, she also states that she's hoping that Key and Seven don't make a big deal out of the fact that she went out with the other girls if they do come home. To be honest, I don't really understand why they bothered even sending them to the hotel. I think they knew they were gonna send them home, so I'm not sure why they sent them to the hotel. Maybe just so that this could play out. So the girls all get to Star Hookah Lounge and they start drinking and they're having a blast. And then Seora goes off to prepare her mixed signature flavors. And she also named her flavor after herself, so the flavor is called Sayora. The party is really chill. The editing was extra as fuck. Like, they kept doing the hookah smoke in slow motion. Like, it was just extra as fuck. In confessional, DeShayla admits that she's having a blast with the girls that she's out with right now, and that she hates that she's having fun with them because this entire time she hasn't hung out with them. It's been an issue with them, and now she's hanging out with them and she's having more fun than she's ever had in the house since the beginning. After this experience, Sayora 100% for sure still wants to open a hookah lounge, and she's hoping that she can one day in the future. I'll go. I will go. I like hookah, but I like the tobacco-free hookah because I ain't trying to be inhaling no tobacco. It's not safe, okay? So tobacco-free hookah. They show us back at the house. Seven and Key are actually being sent home. Cannot be happier, y'all. Really though. When they get back to the house, they realize that the house is unusually quiet. And so immediately when they realize DeShayla's out with the other girls, they get pissed. Like, real pissed. It's basically like a fuck you ting because they're mad that she left without knowing what their situation was. She didn't leave a note or anything, but I feel as though even if she did leave a note, they would still be mad just because they're saying that she's out with the enemies right now. The girls that basically are getting them kicked out of the house. Y'all got yourselves kicked out. BT dub. Key and Seven are extremely happy that they are leaving together. I mean, they didn't make it to the end, but they made it to the last week in the house, so I guess that's pretty far regardless. But still, they didn't get to leave on move out day, so they suck. Like I said, they state that they're not fucking with DeShayla, like, at all. Both of them in their goodbye speeches are not here for DeShayla, and I was kind of feeling bad for DeShayla because I think that they're being extremely petty. I'm hoping that they can resolve. Actually, I don't give a fuck if they resolve it on the interview, on the reunion chat. I don't know why I was about to say that. I don't care if they resolve it or not because honestly, they were annoying. But yeah, they're basically saying DeShayla is dead to them and they want no parts. So when the other girls return to the house, as soon as they come inside, they realize that the photos of Key and Seven are blacked out. So they start jumping for joy, like legit jumping for joy. They were literally standing in front of the photos just screaming and jumping up and down, extremely happy that these two girls finally got sent home. Even if it was in the last week, they still realized that for their final week in the house, there would be absolutely no drama. And I think that that's probably why they were most excited. So while this is going on, DeShayla is actually standing over to the side looking like a lost puppy dog. She was so sad and devastated that her two friends went home and she didn't get to say goodbye to them. She then heads to the diary room or the confessional to express herself and I guess just say her goodbye to them on tape, and she is bawling her eyes out, you guys. Like, she's actually heartbroken that these two bitches have left the building. The saddest part about her going in there and saying her goodbyes to them was that their goodbyes to her were so negative and so, we don't fuck with you, you're a fake bitch, like all that shit. And so I felt bad for her because she looks stupid now on TV because they dissed her, they punked her off on their goodbyes, and she's in there crying her eyes out because they left having no idea that these two girls hate her guts right now. So yeah, I was feeling bad for her because I was just like, that's sad as hell. Could never be me, honey, never be me. So in the next scene, Fran walks past the challenge board and she sees a new challenge on the wall, and basically it's saying that whoever gets the most points or whoever tops the scoreboard gets a VIP treatment the next day. And so she was going to keep it to herself so that she could do stuff with her team, the East Coast. But then Sayora saw the sign too, so she went to tell Bree. And at this point it was Bree and Sayora against Fran, DeShayla, and Kiki. So it was 3 against 2, and they had to get tasks done so that they could win this VIP treatment. We had no idea what the VIP treatment was going to be yet. We just knew that there was VIP treatment to be won. I don't know what just happened, but okay. My camera randomly froze, and it was like, just my face was like, while I'm doing my eyeshadow, and I don't know when it froze. So we're just gonna start by telling you guys that they are at the club. They brought the blow up doll, and the East Coast starts knocking the challenges out of the park. Like, they are doing so well. They're taking prom photos with people. They're taking pictures with people's booties. They're just doing a whole lot of mess and dominating. You could tell that they were gonna be the ones to take home the prize because they were really out here hustling. The only thing Sayora and Bree got to do was bring their blow up doll to the club and introduce it to somebody. I believe they named it Jeff, even though it was a girl blow up doll, because they wanted a boy blow up doll, but they named it Jeff because there was no boy blow up dolls at the store. Just a little bit of color on the lid, you can't even really tell. So once their night is over, they head back for their final limo bus ride, and Shay actually makes out with Bree, and Bree says that she did it because she knew that Seven and Key would be mad as hell when they see it play out on the episode. She knew that it would get under their skin, and I believe that 100% it would. But yeah, when they get home, they see the scoreboard, and of course, East Coast took the prize. Shay finally got to have some fun, but she said it in the limo. She admitted to the girls, and then when she got in her confessional, she said the same thing. She feels as though Seven and Key kind of dictated, and like they were the boss of her the entire time, and they didn't just let her be Shay. And now that she's hanging out with these girls, she's allowed to be DeShayla, and she's happy. So for the VIP treatment, it was nothing that I expected. The girls got to go on a skyscraper, or in a skyscraper, and there was like this slide at the top of the skyscraper that was made out of plexiglass so you could see outside. It was much like the CN Tower. That's what I mean by skyscraper. Some people probably are like, what the fuck is a skyscraper? Tall ass building. And so there was like a giant slide that you could slide down, and it looked dangerous as hell, but I probably would do it. So yeah, it looked fun, but I didn't expect the VIP treatment to be that. That to me wasn't VIP treatment. Like, that to me was a fucking field trip with Miss Frizzle. Like, it was not anything major. They also got to do a helicopter ride to see the entire LA. So they got like a bird's eye view of LA, and I thought that was pretty dope. Kiki ended up knocking out on the helicopter ride, and that is a common thing. Like, if you ever get to ride in like a two-person plane or a helicopter, the altitude can knock you out. That's what happened to Kiki, and so she fell asleep for a couple minutes, and then they woke her up and that was that. So on this helicopter ride thing, it was Key, DeShayla, and Fran. That was who won, by the way, because I never really clarified that, in case you're lost in the sauce. Bree mentioned the fact that she was feeling jealous about not winning because she thought that the VIP treatment was gonna be massages, but she did not miss anything really. Like, you can do a helicopter ride any day. And that's why I say they were doing like field trip stuff. It was nothing spectacular, in my opinion. Like, I guess because I'm comparing it to previous seasons where they got to go on cool trips. Now they just going up the street. So it's just like, nothing to see here, folks. Like, it was just not the great. Like, I don't know. I'm sure if I was there, if I won, I would appreciate it. But just being a viewer and seeing what they got as VIP treatment, I'm just not impressed. Like, that's just what it is. So it is the official last night in the house, and the girls are headed to, I think Playhouse is called. No, lads, it's called Secret Sundays. That is the strip club, and of course Bree is a stripper, so she's excited. She said her first night in the house they went to a strip club, and their last night in the house they're also going to that same strip club, and so she just feels like it's cool because she feels like it's all about her. That's her element. She a stripper. It is what it is. In confessional, Say says it's really gonna be hard to not wake up to these girls anymore, because they've been in this house for however long, and she's just gotten so used to waking up to her friends, and to leave them and go back to her own little hometown is going to be extremely hard for her to do. Even though there were fights and stuff and like they didn't get along sometimes, she still feels as though they've all bonded and nothing can change that or take that away. So when they get in the limo, Shayla is actually crying, and I guess she's just sad that it's their last night or whatever, and it's time to say goodbye. And she's crying because this entire time she's been hanging out with Key and Seven, and she never got to give these girls a chance, and she's had more fun with them than she's had this entire time. A part of it is because she wasn't really allowed to befriend those girls. She had to keep her distance while her homegirls were in the house. She even said she was gonna miss them more than her original bitches. And I'm just like, no, Shayla, honey, you keep that to yourself, because you don't want no type of problems at the reunion, okay? You really just don't want any problems at the reunion. So keep those side comments to yourself, even if they are true and you felt as though they needed to be known. You should have kept that shit to yourself, because you're probably gonna get hands thrown your way at the reunion. When they get back home, they do a group confessional, and they're all like emotional in there and stuff, and they're just stating that they're gonna miss each other and blah blah blah. Shay says her piece, and they all tell Shay that they love her. And yeah, like, I think that the Bad Girls house can really bring you together in the last couple of days. I remember when I did my little reality show, I know I still haven't done this fucking story time for it, when I did my little reality show, it didn't start off the greatest for me. Like, by the end of it, we were all friends and we were all cool with a select few people that just now. But by the end of it, we were all golden. Like, everybody grew to love me, because y'all know I ain't the easiest person to like when you think you know me, but then when you actually get to know me, you're like, oh my god, I'm obsessed. Not to toot my own horn or anything, I'm just saying, like, that's usually how it goes. Like, people, first impressions of me, they don't really fuck with me, and then they get to know me and they're like, oh my gosh. And so that's basically what happened on my reality show that I was on over here in Canada, and that's basically what happens at the end of every Bad Girls Club season. You become friends with people you just never expected to be friends with. So it is moving day in the Bad Girls house, and everybody is getting their shit together and packed up and ready to go. So being that Bree was a replacement, she was the first to go. But while she was trying to leave, Kiki was over here shitting her brains out in the bathroom because she had eggs or something like that. And so she was shitting, and Bree had to leave, and Bree's like, I gotta go. And so Kiki's like, no, like, wait, I'm coming. And I was dying, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's not even gonna wash her hands and she's gonna hug this girl goodbye. Kiki finished pooping, and then she came out and said her goodbyes to Bree. Next, after Bree leaves, Sayora leaves. When I think about it now, I feel like Sayora should have left after Shayla, but it is what it is. What I noticed was that in the goodbye videos from Bree and Sayora, in both of their goodbye videos, they spoke highly of each other, and they basically said that they've made a lifetime friend out of one another. But I don't think that they are friends at this point. I want to know what happened between them, because I think that Bree is still open to being friends with Sayora, but for some reason Sayora ain't fucking with nobody but Fran from this season. And so she's not following anybody except for Fran on social media. And so I just want to know what happened after the fact, because she doesn't fuck with Bree anymore. But one day after I realized they had fallen out, I went to Bree's Twitter, and the last thing that she had pinned to her profile was a clip from the show of her and Sayora when they had the house to themselves and they were in the onesies. And so I was kind of confused, because I feel like she still wants to be friends with Sayora, but for some reason Sayora ain't trying to be friends with nobody. So I want to know what the tea is, honey. If you guys got the tea, spill it in the comments, because I need to know. Like, I really love them as friends, and I'm sad that they're not friends anymore. So next to leave is Shay. I actually forgot she was still there, because she wasn't in the living room when they were saying their goodbyes, but I forgot Shay was there until she had to leave. So finally Shay packs up, she leaves, she says her goodbye. Oh, she says her goodbyes or whatever, and it sucks that Shay needed Key and Seven to leave so that she could just have fun and be herself. Like, that should never ever be the case. Like, if you have friends that are holding you back like that, cut them hoes off. Like, they don't need to be in your life at all. So I'm glad that she was able to say ixnay to them hoes, because child, I'm glad that those bitches left and she got to enjoy her last couple of days in the house, because they was tiring. Okay, so the next person to leave is Kiki, and she could not wait to leave. Like, she said bye to Fred and called it a day. She put her shit in the taxi and that was it. She couldn't wait to leave, so she's like, bye bitch, like, see you never. She was just over it and she wanted to go home. I totally feel her on that. So in this very last and final scene, Fran is ready to go, and she walks around the house one last time and she's basically just saying bye to everything. When Fran was going around to the different rooms and just saying goodbye to everything, that's when I really got sad, because I'm just like, this is the last season of Bad Girls Club, you guys. Like, the last fucking season. It wasn't the greatest, okay, but still, this is 17 seasons and 2 spin-offs later. Like, I enjoyed Bad Girls Club. I am going to miss Bad Girls Club. I'm gonna miss doing these videos. I love Bad Girls Club, and I'm really sad to see it ending. And we still have the reunion. There's gonna be, I think, 2 episodes, so there's that. Hold on, we can't cry because I am going out for dinner. But yeah, this is when I got emotional in the show, but it sucks to say goodbye, but it was fun while it lasted. I hope that Bune and Murray comes out with a different show like Bad Girls Club, or like does like a Bad Girls Club reboot, because I will be tuned all the way in. I'm glad that I got to participate and all you guys got to watch as I reviewed Bad Girls Club for the last, well, this is my first time reviewing Bad Girls Club, but I'm glad that you guys got to be here and be a part of it, and that I am a part of Bad Girls history because I reviewed the last season. And I don't know, I've never watched a TV show review on YouTube before, but my comment section is always filled, and I thank you guys for supporting this, even though some of y'all was mad as hell at me for not fucking with Key, but I just couldn't, like, I just could not. Yeah, that's basically it. It was an okay last season. Maybe I'll release my audition tape from like a couple years ago. Oh, just kidding, you'll never see it. But yeah, I love you all, and I still am reviewing my other shows, so make sure you tune in to my Love and Hip Hop reviews and now my Basketball Wives review. That's basically it. I love you all, and I'll definitely see you in the next one. Oh, duh, see you next week for the reunion.